So why am I fishing out there if I'm catching, 5 to, 8-inch fish on this particular trip? A couple years prior, that was not the case. Nothing special, guys. Nothing special at all. So they're all dinky. They're all averaging that size, and I'm just ice jigging, guys. Same thing, vertical jigging with an ice jig. I'll show it to you here. Right there. Tungsten ice jig, 80-bit SwimR, 1 1/4 inch, and the conditions are just right for fishing right now. I might be bouncing around brush piles. Prior to fishing and even dropping a lure, I went around with down and side imaging and just checked every brush pile I knew of out at this water, and there are fish set up on every single one of them. So they're definitely gravitating to brush. They're sitting high in the water column. Like, I thought they'd be down in the brush more, but they are on top of the brush and just kind of scattered around it. But they're in the brush piles thick, and they're biting hard. It's the crappie thump. They are coming up a long ways for this lure, so they are definitely being energetic today. They are vibing the itty-bit SwimR and the tungsten. So I'm gonna keep fishing, bounce around this morning. If I get fed up with tiny crappie and I can't find a larger year class, then might bite bass fish a little bit. But I just love fishing cloudy days. I don't cast any shadows. I can sneak up on the fish. It's just so quiet and just great fishing this morning. So stay tuned. Hopefully I can catch a couple more. Maybe something special will happen. We'll see. But either way, I am keeping busy because these fish are biting every drop. I really would suggest fishing on days where you got a calm day and snow or thick fog or a light rain. Like, it's just days like that that fish really bite well for me. So stay tuned, see if we can catch a couple more. Another one, guys. Dinkers, guys, dinkers, but they're so much fun. I'll give you guys a look at my flash and I'll show you what's going on here. So let me turn the camera around quick. I'm gonna throw him back. So take a look at that. The upper half of that flasher's fish, the bottom half is the brush. So like, they're in there thick as the brush. There's so many crappie in there, but that's what it looks like. And they will shoot up, like I said, several feet for these lures right now, for these ice jigs. They are not being bashful, but I will probably be moving soon unless I can start getting on a larger year class, because I only got a couple hours to fish and I want to find some larger individuals. So hopefully we can find a few larger ones, but it is fast and furious. These fish are biting like crazy. This is probably the most furious bite I've had since pre-spawn, so a lot of fun. My fingers are freezing, my eyelets on my rods are freezing, so it's a cold morning, 20-some degrees. So I'll let you go, get my fingers warmed up, keep catching crappie, and maybe move on to another spot. Stay tuned. All right, friends, giving you a little update here. I switched brush piles and a little better fish, little better. Another white, put him back. And I actually saw that fish on my flasher, like, come up to my lure. I registered it all the way to where it hit, and I did not move my jig. I literally dropped it to the depth these fish are holding at, and that fish came up about probably 2 feet, went 2 or 3 feet without hesitation and hit that ice jig. Colors don't matter, nothing matters today. They are just in a biting mood, and it is a lot of fun. I just hope I can catch at least one decent one. It makes me want to go to a different body of water, but I'm out here already and I'll make the best of it. I don't really want to drive. We have some snow on the road, so it's going to take even longer to get to another lake. So I'm just going to make the best of this day out here. So we might just end up with 500 little crappie, but like I said, if you guys ever find yourself out here, just take as many 6 to 9 inch fish as you want, just buckets, just take them all, because they are in here so thick. Big ones are rare. Anything 10 plus is tough to come by unless it's spawn. They're in here, they're just tough as nails to find. So I'm gonna keep fishing. I'll keep giving you guys updates all morning. All right, folks, so I switched bus piles again, and my lips are kind of numb, so if I kind of babble, I apologize. But there's the biggest one of the day so far. A little better, but it's been tough getting into good ones. It's just there's just so many little ones out here, and the big ones are few and far between. So I kind of came here more for the sake of I just haven't been here for a couple months to crappie fish, and I just wanted to try it again. It's been about a month, I guess, since I've crappie fished here, and I just wanted to try it. So we're out here, we're trying to get them, and hopefully another larger one comes in. But I finally found one that's fairly decent size, so I upscaled my jig as well. I have a Berkeley minnow on there, one of their gulp minnows, and just a regular 16th ounce jighead, and that's what I'm fishing right now. So hopefully that larger profile will keep those smaller fish off, and I can kind of try to coax a couple larger individuals into biting. So we'll keep at it for maybe another half hour, and if nothing happens, I might be switching gears here, so we'll see. All right, folks, a little update. I switched gears, and I'm gonna be going for bass now, another dinker. But we're doing the same thing. We're using the hair jig this morning. Very quiet, and I got that fish on the 3rd cast, so we might be up for a good morning. It's really cold out and my battery's dying quick on my phone, so we're gonna get this guy back, and I'll try to hopefully have some updates for you, but we're just gonna grind it out for another 2 hours and see if we can catch a good one. So that'll be the end of our day, so stay tuned. All right, folks, bass number 3 there, folks, on the hair jig. Better one there, guys. My phone is definitely gonna die in the next couple minutes, so just thought I'd show you. It's probably 40-degree water and 30-degree air temps, but we're just using that hair jig and just bouncing bottom again. Another good one, nice one. Hell of a crappie morning, couple more bass. Stay tuned, hope I can catch another one without my phone dying.
Hey, good morning, guys. I just wanted to quick recap this past weekend's video, and there were 2 takeaways from this trip that I kind of wanted to talk about. The first is just the conditions of the day, and then the second thing I want to talk about is year class boom or bust, the crappie year class boom and bust that happens. And this is a phenomenon that, you know, I read about and people have talked about, and I kind of touched on it in the past because they kind of talk about it as well in the Crappie Chronicles season opener this year. Anyways, let's talk about the conditions first that day, because that'll be quick to talk about. So I did say in the video that look for days that are calm, overcast, a little bit of precipitation coming down in any kind of form. I'm talking snow, heavy light, light rain, maybe a moderate rain, maybe even heavy rain, you know, and then dense fog. But the other part of that is the calmness of the day. I find that days that I go out and there's precipitation coming down and there is no wind are days that fish just chew, guys. That is almost, I think, 100% of the time. I've been keeping track of that, and days that sort of thing happens is that the fish are just biting. Also days that produce whore ice, that ice that gets really thick on everything. I think it's called whore ice. Days like that, if you can get out on a morning where there's a ton of whore ice out on everything, those are days where fish are just chewing. There's something about the conditions. I think the pressure bottoms out. The conditions might be associated with the barometric pressure, but man, I think it might just be that low pressure, and like those fish are just eating. Bottom line, fish are eating during these conditions. And this is, like I said, near 100% of the time I find myself catching fish a lot more aggressively in conditions where there's overcast, calm, and some sort of precipitation coming down at the moment, at that very moment. I do very well every time. Year round does not matter, even when there's ice on the water still. It's just great conditions for fishing. The second thing I wanted to talk about was crappie boom and bust. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, as you guys saw in the video, the crappie I was catching were pathetic. They really were. I mean, they were a blast because they were thumping it and I was catching them hand over fist. But guys, they were not impressive crappie at all. So why am I fishing out there if I'm catching, 5 to 8-inch fish on this particular trip? A couple years prior, that was not the case. You would have 10 to 12s mixed in, 13s up to 15s, up to 15-inch fish I was catching out there. Now, not a chance, not a chance. If you go back and look at some of my YouTube videos of that spot from a couple years ago, there's footage of me catching 15-inch crappie. I caught 2 in one morning in one video. 2 15-inchers. So yeah, I'm beating a dead horse right now, but I'm making darn sure that I am beating a dead horse. Because there's a part of me that feels like there's still some big ones lurking in there. And pre-spawn, spawn, you can maybe get on them a little better. It's still difficult, but you can get on those larger fish a little easier that time of year. But ultimately, crappie boom and bust, I think that that body of water is in a bust period right now. We have a ton of 5 to 8 inch fish, and I think now it's just a matter of time to see if these fish are stunted or see if there's going to be a strong year class in a couple years, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Maybe we'll have a really strong year class of really quality fish. So it remains to be seen. I hope that it is not a stunted population. I think it may be a stunted population out there for the time being, until nature has the right conditions to sort itself out there, whatever those conditions may be, or whatever has to happen to, you know, make that crappie population change. But right now I think it is in a bust, and I'm gonna have to go fish some new water. I think I'm definitely beating a dead horse out there. I will definitely come fish it come spring and see what it's like in the pre-spawn and spawn, because that's when I get my best metric. If there's still some larger fish in there that can be caught, but right now it is predominantly pathetic sized crappie. So like I said, this body of water I'm fishing on this trip, take as many 5 to 9 inch fish out of there as you want, because you aren't hurting anything. I can tell you that. I'm not much for telling people to take buckets and buckets of crappie, but out here, if you take that size range, those 5 to 8 inch fish, 5 to 9 inch fish, you are not hurting a single thing. So take as many as you want if you're ever out there crappie fishing. If size doesn't matter to you, I'm a big crappie guy. I like catching big crappie. I don't usually catch crappie to eat. I just like catching big ones. I love the thrill of finding and hooking into big crappie. That's my deal. But if you're like, catch any size you want and flay them out, go out there and have a ball, guys, because you will catch a ton of them. So anyways, crappie boom and bust. That's the story behind that. I really hope, since it's so close to home, that spot will flourish again one day, and we will have a good population of nice fish in there again someday. So anyways, that's all I got for you. Fish those calm, precipitous days where it's calm, hoar ice, thick fog, mist, light rain, snow, calm. Fish days like that, because you will get bit, guys, about every time. Other thing, crappie boom and bust. This is not just my lake. This happens to many lakes. This happens to many lakes, that they will have booms. There will be crappie booms sometimes, and then they'll go a couple years where it's just the complete opposite. So anyways, y'all take care. You have a good week, and we'll get out this weekend. It's gonna get tough, guys. That we're gonna be having some thin ice out there, and it's gonna get tough to find some open water. So we might be having a break here in the near future until that ice is thick enough to be out on safely. So we'll see how long I can fish before I'm shut down, waiting for nature to make thick, safe ice. So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you guys out on the water soon.